You want big change. It starts with something small. One little action, repeated over time, becomes something powerful. Not exciting, not dramatic, just consistent. Today's story shows how the boring stuff is exactly what brings success. At first, I believed I needed to work hard all day. I thought if I didn't study for an hour, it wasn't enough. So I kept quitting. Maybe that sounds familiar. You try, you stop. You try again, stop again. And you feel worse each time. That was my normal world. I wanted results but didn't want the routine. I wanted fluency without repetition. I waited for motivation like it was magic. But one day, I heard a sentence that changed everything: consistency beats intensity. I didn't fully get it. How could something small be better than something big? But I was tired of starting over. I needed a new path. So I made a decision: 10 minutes a day. Not 1 hour once a week. Just 10 minutes, every single day. It wasn't perfect. I missed a day, then came back. I forgot sometimes. But something changed. I didn't quit. That was new for me. I didn't feel like a failure anymore. I started seeing myself as someone who shows up, even when it's hard. Each day looked different. I watched a short video. I listened to a podcast while walking. I read aloud for a few minutes. Sometimes I wrote down 5 words and used them in sentences. Nothing big. But I felt proud, because I was consistent. Little by little, I changed. I didn't even notice it at first. But after 3 weeks, I remembered more. I spoke faster. I understood more without subtitles. And the best part? I wasn't scared anymore. English became part of my everyday life. Consistency gave me confidence. It wasn't about talent or memory. It was about keeping a promise to myself. 10 minutes a day wasn't just practice, it was identity. I was becoming the kind of person who doesn't give up. That felt powerful. Now I see how most people fail not because they're lazy, but because they aim too high too soon. They burn out. They get tired. But the secret is simple: go slow, but don't stop. Stay in the game. The rest will come. So here's your challenge. Don't do everything today. Do one thing. A small thing. And do it again tomorrow. Let it be boring. Let it feel easy. That's the beauty of consistency. It works even when it doesn't feel like it's working. The hero's journey doesn't start with dragons or battles. It starts with one tiny step taken daily. That's your new superpower. Use it. Build it. Let it grow. It will take you places you never imagined before. Even fluency begins with 5 minutes. You don't need more time. You need more consistency. That's where change begins. So let's go. One small action. Every day. That's it. At first, everything felt exciting. I made a plan, set a goal, bought a notebook, created a study playlist. I told my friends, this time, I'm serious. It felt good. That burst of energy made me feel like I had already succeeded. But motivation has a problem. It's not loyal. It doesn't stay when life gets busy. One small problem, work, school, a bad mood, and it disappears. That week, I got sick. Suddenly, my perfect plan was in danger. I didn't feel like studying. One day missed turned into 3. Guilt started growing. My brain whispered, you failed again. I felt heavy. Ashamed. That's when I almost quit. Again. But something inside me fought back. I thought, what if I don't restart? What if I just continue? That idea was strange. Not starting over. Just, picking up where I left off. Even if the notebook had dust. even if I forgot the last lesson. I said, okay. Just 5 minutes today. No pressure. Just presence. And I did it. It didn't feel like much. But it broke the chain of failure. I remembered, this isn't about being perfect. It's about not stopping. Even a small step forward is better than standing still. I started trusting the process, not my feelings. I used to wait for the perfect mood. The right moment. But now I knew, consistency doesn't need a mood. It needs a choice. A simple one. So I created a rule for myself, never skip 2 days in a row. It was easy to remember, and powerful. Sometimes I didn't even want to open my mouth. I was tired of repeating things I still didn't understand. But I did one small thing anyway. Just listened. Or read one paragraph. And every time I kept going, the guilt disappeared a little more. The truth is, success is boring. It's brushing your teeth every day. It's eating vegetables. It's reading 5 minutes instead of scrolling endlessly. It doesn't feel amazing, but later, you see the results, and they are amazing. I learned that motivation is a bad friend. It shows up late and leaves early. But habits? Habits are loyal. They stay when it rains. They show up when you don't feel like it. And they grow stronger every time you choose them. My biggest fear was that slow progress meant no progress. But I was wrong. Even a tiny seed grows if you water it. I didn't need speed. I needed roots. And that's what I was building, quietly, daily, patiently. My confidence started growing. When you feel like you've failed, pause. Don't restart. Just continue. That mindset shift is gold. You're not behind. You're just in the middle. And every middle is part of something bigger. You only lose if you stop completely. So the next time you miss a day, don't panic. Just return. Quietly. Gently. And keep going. Consistency doesn't need drama. Just presence. That's your power. We all want something big. Speak fluent English. Travel the world. Work abroad. Watch movies without subtitles. Big dreams make us excited. But sometimes, they also make us feel stuck, because the goal feels too far, too heavy, too hard. I remember telling myself, I want to be fluent in 6 months. That sounded impressive. But after 2 weeks, I felt pressure. Every small mistake felt like proof that I'd never get there. I wasn't learning. I was just feeling stressed. Big goals aren't bad, but they need help. They need small systems. Without daily habits, goals become just wishes. I had to stop dreaming and start building. Not a big tower all at once, but one small brick at a time. Every single day. So I changed my focus. I stopped asking, when will I be fluent, and started asking, what can I do today? That one question helped me breathe. I didn't need to climb the mountain now. I just had to take the next step forward. That step looked simple: learn 5 new words. Watch a 2-minute video. Read one short paragraph. Write a sentence with a new verb. Small, real, doable. When I finished, I felt something powerful: progress. It wasn't dramatic, but it was real. I started writing down my wins. Not the big ones, the small ones. Learned 3 phrasal verbs today. Had a 5-minute conversation. Understood a line in a movie without subtitles. These became my motivation. Not the dream, but the daily proof. Soon I saw a pattern. The people who succeed, they don't just have big dreams. They build daily actions. They treat practice like brushing teeth. No debate. No emotion. Just a normal part of life. And that's how results come, slowly but surely. I learned to measure effort, not outcomes. I couldn't control how fast I improved, but I could control if I showed up. That mindset changed everything. Instead of feeling like a failure, I started feeling proud of my effort. The funny thing? The less I stressed, the more I learned. Without pressure, my brain relaxed. I remembered more. Understood faster. English became a friend, not a fight. I stopped chasing perfection and started loving progress. People asked, "How do you stay so disciplined?" But it wasn't discipline. It was design. I made it easy. I put my notebook on my bed. I set reminders. I chose content I liked. When things are easy, they happen more often, and that's the magic. So here's the truth, big goals are good, but small actions win. They make your dream possible, piece by piece. Want to speak better English? Don't just dream it. Do it. Daily. Quietly. And the results will speak for themselves. Let your goal guide you, but let your habits build you. Step by step. Brick by brick. That's how fluency is made, not with pressure, but with presence. You'll mess up. That's part of it. You'll forget words. You'll mispronounce something in front of people. You'll say, "he go," instead of, "he goes." And you'll feel embarrassed. But guess what? Those moments are not signs of failure, they're proof of growth. I used to panic when I made a mistake. My cheeks got hot. My voice got quiet. I'd think, they must think I'm stupid. So I stayed silent. But silence never helped me speak better. It only made the fear bigger. I had to change that. One day, I said, "I eated," instead of, "I ate." The person corrected me kindly. But I still felt terrible. That night, I almost gave up. But then I thought, I just learned something I'll never forget. That's not a loss, that's a win. I started seeing mistakes as data, not drama. Every error was a signpost, "Look here. Improve this." Suddenly, English didn't feel like a test. It felt like a puzzle. Something to play with. That mindset made everything lighter and easier. I also began collecting my mistake moments. I'd write them down and review them. Not to feel bad, but to track progress. Used, go'd, now I know, went. Forgot, th sound, practiced it 10 times. This turned failure into feedback. Mistakes became my teacher. Not my enemy. I began noticing how children learn. They make hundreds of errors, but they don't care. They laugh, they repeat, they move on. That's how fluency is built, through fearless repetition. Once I embraced this, I stopped fearing conversations. I started speaking more. Not perfectly, but bravely. And people responded with kindness. Most people don't expect perfect English. They just want connection. That changed everything. So I asked myself, what's worse, speaking with mistakes or never speaking at all? The answer was clear. I'd rather speak broken English than keep my ideas trapped inside. That was the day I gave myself permission to be imperfect. I created a mistake jar. Every time I made one, I wrote it on a slip of paper, folded it, and saved it. After 30 days, I looked inside, 30 mistakes, 30 lessons. Each paper meant progress. I wasn't failing, I was growing. This shift gave me power. I wasn't afraid of sounding silly. I was proud of showing up. I didn't wait for perfect grammar. I focused on real use. The goal wasn't correctness, it was communication. And that felt real, and human, and free. Here's your reminder, every mistake means you tried. That's something most people never do. Don't hide from errors. Chase them. Learn from them. Laugh at them. Turn your stumbles into stepping stones. Keep going, mistake by mistake. Each one makes you stronger, smarter, and closer to the speaker you're becoming. Willpower is not enough. You can't rely on motivation forever. So what helps? Your environment. The things you see, hear, and feel every day. If your world supports your goals, it becomes easier to act. No motivation required, just design. I used to hide my English books in a drawer. My apps were buried on the third screen of my phone. No wonder I forgot to study. Out of sight, out of mind. So I changed things. I put my English notebook on my pillow. I made it visible. Suddenly, I saw it every night. I remembered to write. I added sticky notes with English words to my mirror. When I brushed my teeth, I read them. On my phone, I moved my English app to the front page. Every little change helped. Your brain loves shortcuts. So give it easy access. Want to listen more? Make a playlist in advance. Want to read more? Save one short article and keep the tab open. Reduce friction. Make starting feel effortless. That's how habits stick. I called this friction-free learning. I didn't wait for the perfect time. I built English into my life like coffee or walking. Just part of the day. Easy, automatic. And the more I saw it, the less I ignored it. I also changed what I consumed. I stopped following accounts that made me scroll mindlessly. I followed English teachers, learners, storytellers. My feed became a learning tool, not a distraction. One scroll equals one new word. That felt smart. My room became my classroom. No whiteboards, no pressure, just little signals everywhere. A verb tense poster on the wall. A list of transition words near my desk. My environment whispered, "You're learning. Keep going." And it worked. Every time I saw a new word, I remembered it better. Not because I studied harder, but because I saw it often. Repetition lives in your surroundings. Design your space to remind, not to distract. I made a deal with myself: if something helps me grow, I keep it close. If it slows me down, I move it away. Even 5 minutes of silence in the morning made a difference. That became my ritual: 5 minutes of English, no phone, just focus. Even my water bottle helped. I wrote, "Consistency is power," on it. Sounds silly, but every sip reminded me why I started. The little things matter. They add up. They speak to you even when you're tired. Let them. So look around. What do you see? Do your surroundings support your dream, or fight against it? Change one thing today. Add one visual cue. Build an environment that cheers for you, not distracts you. Your space becomes your habit. Your habit becomes your identity. And your identity? That's where fluency begins. You can set goals, make plans, track habits, but if you don't believe in the person you're becoming, it's hard to keep going. That's the secret no one tells you: real change begins with identity. Who do you think you are? I used to say, "I'm not good at languages." It sounded harmless. But every time I said it, I gave my brain permission to quit. Why try, if I'm just bad at it? That story became my truth. Until I changed the story. Instead of saying, "I want to learn English," I started saying, "I'm learning English." One small word, shifted my mindset. I wasn't trying. I was doing. I wasn't a beginner, I was a learner. That identity felt strong. The moment you believe you're an English speaker, you act differently. You practice more. You speak more. You pay attention. It's not fake. It's you stepping into your future now, not waiting for fluency to give you permission. Identity shapes action. And action reinforces identity. It's a loop. When you study today, you're not just learning vocabulary. You're becoming someone who learns. Someone who grows. That's bigger than grammar, it's personal transformation. I also started using identity triggers. I'd ask myself, what would a consistent learner do right now? The answer was usually simple. Watch one video. Review 5 words. Not huge. But each time, I stepped into the role I wanted to live. You don't need to wait until you're fluent to feel like an English speaker. You become one through your actions. Each sentence you write. Each word you pronounce. That's fluency in motion, not perfection, but identity in progress. I gave myself a name, Language Builder. It felt powerful. Not student. Not struggler. Builder. That image guided me when I was tired. When I doubted myself. It reminded me, I'm not lost, I'm building. Brick by brick. So here's a challenge. Don't just focus on what you want to do. Focus on who you want to become. Then act like that person. Speak like them. Show up like them. Bit by bit, the gap closes. Your future becomes your present. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the version of you who speaks English with confidence. What do they do? How do they feel? Where are they? That person isn't just a dream. They are waiting. And they need your choices today. When I started, I couldn't see the future clearly. It felt too far. Too impossible. But then I learned a trick, future visualization. Every morning, I spent 1 minute picturing the person I wanted to become. Not just fluent, but free. I saw myself in a cafe, speaking easily with travelers. I saw myself watching interviews and understanding jokes. I imagined helping someone lost in my city, using English with calm confidence. Those pictures made me feel something. Emotions fuel action. And the stronger I felt about that future, the more I wanted to act today. Visualizing made the invisible real. My practice wasn't just practice anymore, it was connection to the person I was becoming. When I felt lazy, I'd ask, what does future me want me to do right now? And the answer was never, scroll Instagram or, give up. The answer was always simple, show up. Even for 5 minutes. Even with low energy. That question became my compass. When in doubt, I followed the future. And over time, my daily actions started looking like that future self. I stopped waiting for change to come to me. I started becoming the change. I kept a future log. Just a small notebook. I wrote letters from my future self to my present self. They always said the same thing, keep going. I'm proud of you. I exist because you didn't quit. That felt powerful. Sometimes we forget that future results come from present patterns. If you speak today, you'll speak better tomorrow. If you write today, you'll write more freely next week. Each act is a vote for your future identity. So what does your future need today? Maybe it's a quiet 10 minutes. Maybe it's reviewing a simple lesson. Maybe it's one brave conversation. Whatever it is, do it now. For that version of you that's already smiling, already speaking, already real. Learning a language isn't just mental, it's emotional. Every time you speak, you risk feeling exposed. What if they don't understand me? What if I sound stupid? These thoughts are normal. But they don't have to control you. At first, I felt fear every time I opened my mouth. My voice was shaky. My mind went blank. I knew the words, but in the moment, everything disappeared. I thought I had a language problem. But really, it was an emotional one. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's doing the thing while still feeling afraid. So I made a choice, speak anyway. Even if it wasn't perfect. Even if I forgot words. Even if I felt nervous. That choice changed everything. Each time I survived a conversation, I felt stronger. Not perfect, but braver. That's what I call emotional muscle. Just like physical muscles, it grows with reps. The more you practice under pressure, the calmer you become. I started small. I ordered coffee in English. I asked simple questions online. I spoke to myself in the mirror. It felt weird, but it worked. Day by day, my body stopped reacting with panic. My brain said, "You've done this before. You're okay." Emotional muscle builds in moments of discomfort. So don't run from them. Welcome them. When your heart beats fast, smile. It means you're growing. It means your comfort zone is stretching, and that's where transformation lives. I created bravery rituals. Before speaking, I'd take a breath, smile, and say to myself, "I'm learning. I'm brave." That little ritual gave me strength. It reminded me, mistakes aren't danger, they're proof that I'm trying. You can build your own rituals. Maybe it's music that makes you feel strong. Maybe it's a lucky pen. Maybe it's a deep breath and a silent mantra. These tiny habits tell your brain, it's safe to try. You've done hard things before. Don't wait to feel ready. Act, and readiness will follow. Emotions aren't obstacles, they're training. Every uncomfortable conversation makes the next one easier. Every brave attempt builds a new version of you. So speak scared. Speak anyway. Let your voice shake. Let your grammar wobble. That's not failure, that's strength. Every word you say is a weight lifted. Every sentence, a step forward. And your emotional muscle? It's growing stronger every day. Progress is strange. You don't always see it. You study, you listen, you speak, but nothing feels different. That's when doubt whispers, "Is this even working?" But the truth is, change is happening. You just need the right way to notice it. Fluency doesn't arrive with fireworks. It grows like a plant, quietly, slowly, underground. You don't see the roots at first. But one day, you use a word you didn't study recently. You understand a sentence without thinking. That's real progress. To stay motivated, I started tracking the invisible. Not just scores or test results, but tiny wins. I wrote them down every night, understood a podcast without subtitles. Used, though, correctly in a sentence. Didn't freeze in conversation. These small victories became my fuel. On days when I felt stuck, I opened my notebook and saw proof, I was improving. Maybe not fast. Maybe not loudly. But definitely, surely, deeply. My growth was there, I just had to see it differently. I also tracked effort, not just results. Watched 2 videos. Spoke for 3 minutes. Learned 5 new words. Why? Because effort is what builds results. When you reward action, you stay consistent, and consistency builds everything. I made visual progress charts. Not fancy, just paper and markers. Each box I colored meant 1 day of study. Over time, the page filled. It looked beautiful. It looked like commitment. That made me proud. That made me want to keep going. Some days, all I did was 1 flashcard. And I still tracked it. Why? Because the habit matters more than the size. A small step on a hard day is more powerful than a big step on an easy day. It proves you're serious. It proves you're steady. You can try this too. Create a win list. Or a habit tracker. Or record short voice messages and compare them after a month. Progress loves attention. When you notice it, it grows. When you ignore it, it hides. Don't trust your feelings on bad days. They lie. Trust your data. Trust your actions. Trust the version of you who shows up, even when it's hard. That person is real. And they're getting stronger, one quiet step at a time. So track the invisible. Celebrate the tiny. Respect the effort. That's how learners become speakers. That's how, I hope, becomes, I can. Imagine putting one coin in a jar every day. At first, it looks silly. One coin doesn't change anything. But after 100 days, you've got something real. That's the compound effect. Small actions, repeated, grow into something big. Learning English works the same way. One word today. One sentence tomorrow. One short conversation next week. Alone, they seem small. But together, they create something powerful: understanding, confidence, fluency. At first, I didn't see results. I felt like I was walking in circles. But then I hit a moment. I understood a movie scene without subtitles. I smiled. It wasn't a huge breakthrough, but it was proof that the seeds I planted were growing. The compound effect isn't fast. It's not exciting. But it's dependable. When you trust it, you stop stressing about speed. You stop comparing yourself. You start focusing on the next small step, and that's where the magic lives. I made a rule: never skip twice. If I missed a day, fine. But not two. That rule protected my momentum. And every time I returned after a bad day, I built resilience. The habit stayed alive. And the progress continued, quietly. Over time, things got easier. Words I struggled with became automatic. Grammar patterns I once forgot started appearing in my speech. I didn't even study harder, I just showed up. Daily effort was doing the work behind the scenes. I also started stacking habits. After my morning coffee, I'd watch a 2-minute English video. After dinner, I'd read a short paragraph. Linking language to daily routines made it stick. I wasn't forcing study, I was living it. Even 5-minute habits mattered. The key was consistency. 10 minutes of focused practice every day beats 1 hour once a week. That's the compound effect: small, steady action wins. Not louder, but longer. Not harder, but smarter. When people asked, "How did you improve?" I didn't say, "one big thing." I said, "many small things." Repeated. With love. Because that's the truth. There's no secret trick, just persistence, and belief in the slow power of habit. So ask yourself, what can I repeat daily? What feels easy, but meaningful? Start there. Plant the seed. Water it. Trust the quiet work. Let the days add up. One page, one word, one try at a time. The compound effect doesn't shout. It whispers. But those whispers become a new voice, yours. I used to think I had to speak perfectly. Every sentence flawless. Every word correct. No grammar mistakes. That belief stopped me from speaking at all. I waited until I was ready, but that moment never came. Perfection became a prison. Perfection feels safe. It makes us feel like we're protecting ourselves. But in truth, it's fear wearing a nice suit. Fear of judgment. Fear of being wrong. Fear of looking foolish. But here's the truth: no one learns perfectly. Think about how babies learn. They make sounds. They mess up. They say, "Me want cookie." No one laughs at them. We cheer them on. We know they're learning. And yet, we're so hard on ourselves when we're the ones learning. So I started using imperfect English on purpose. I'd speak even if I didn't know the exact word. I'd write even if the sentence was messy. I let my English be wild, broken, honest. And you know what? I finally made progress. When I focused on communication, not correctness, I spoke more. I connected more. I enjoyed it more. And strangely, I improved faster. Because I wasn't freezing every time I made a mistake. I was flowing instead of overthinking. I even kept a mistake celebration list. Every time I made a funny or weird mistake, I wrote it down and laughed. One time I said, I have 23 years, instead of, I'm 23. It was funny, and now I'll never forget the correct way. That list reminded me that perfection isn't the goal, connection is. You're not here to impress grammar books. You're here to speak, understand, and connect with real people. That's the real purpose of language. Fluency isn't about never making mistakes. It's about not letting mistakes stop you. It's about confidence, flexibility, and the ability to keep going even when your words wobble. That's real power. That's real fluency. So give yourself permission to be imperfect. Say the wrong word. Mix up tenses. Speak with pauses. But speak. Try. Show up. Your English is allowed to be a work in progress. You're not broken, you're becoming. Your best English isn't perfect, it's alive. And it grows through use, through errors, through effort. Let it be messy. Let it be brave. And let it be yours. There's a moment when learning stops feeling like a task and starts feeling like a part of you. That's when English becomes a lifestyle. Not something on your to-do list, but something woven into your day, your habits, your identity. At first, English was a separate part of my life. I had study time and real life. But it felt like work, heavy and unnatural. Then I tried something different. I stopped separating it. I made English part of everything. Instead of only studying in one place, I used English during daily moments. While cooking, I'd name the ingredients. While walking, I'd describe what I saw. While texting friends, I'd write short messages in English. Little things, but daily. I started watching the shows I loved, but with English subtitles. I changed my phone's language. I followed English creators on social media. I wasn't forcing myself to study. I was surrounding myself with language naturally. My brain adapted. Slowly, it stopped translating. It started thinking in English. Not all the time, but more and more. Words came faster. Sentences flowed easier. English became the background music of my life. Even music helped. I listened to songs, read the lyrics, sang along. I didn't understand everything, but I felt it. And each time, I learned something new. A phrase. A tone. An emotion. Language through feeling is powerful. I also created an English corner in my room. A cozy spot with books, a notebook, a small speaker. It became my daily retreat. 10 minutes there felt peaceful. No pressure, just connection. A habit I looked forward to, not avoided. The more I lived with English, the less I stressed about studying it. I let it be imperfect, fun, flexible. I made mistakes, laughed, tried again. And with time, English stopped feeling foreign. It started feeling familiar, like home. That's when I realized, fluency isn't a destination. It's a lifestyle. It's not just about lessons, it's about choosing English in daily life. In small ways. In ways that make you smile, think, feel, and grow. So start now. Add English to your world. To your music, your thoughts, your quiet moments. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Just live it. Let English be more than a subject. Let it be part of who you are. Because when English becomes your lifestyle, fluency becomes your future. What you say to yourself matters. It shapes how you feel, what you do, and whether you keep going. Learning English isn't just about words, it's about the words you say to yourself every single day. I used to say, I'm so bad at this. After one mistake, I'll never get it. When I forgot a word, why am I even trying? These thoughts felt automatic. But they weren't just thoughts, they were instructions. And my brain followed them. So I started listening to my self-talk. Really listening. And I was shocked. I'd never speak to a friend that way. Why did I speak to myself like that? It was time to change the voice inside my head, to turn it from critic into coach. When I caught a negative thought, I paused. Then I rewrote it. I'll never get this, became, this is hard now, but I'm improving. I sound stupid, became, I'm learning, and every try makes me stronger. Small shifts, big impact. It felt strange at first. Like lying to myself. But over time, these new thoughts became real. I felt more patient. More resilient. I wasn't pretending, I was practicing new beliefs. And slowly, those beliefs became my truth. I also started using affirmations. Not cheesy quotes, but real, personal mantras. I'm becoming more confident every day. I deserve to take space in English. Mistakes mean I'm trying. I repeated them daily, out loud, with feeling. These words gave me power. On tough days, they reminded me who I was becoming. On tired days, they helped me keep going. Your self-talk becomes your soundtrack. Make it strong. Make it kind. Make it something worth listening to. I even recorded my voice saying these affirmations. I'd listen to them while walking, cleaning, or resting. Hearing my own voice encouraging me, it was weird, but healing. It felt like my future self was cheering me on. You don't need to believe 100% in your new self-talk right away. Just say it. Repeat it. Let it grow. Your brain is always listening. So feed it words that build, not break. Words that stretch you forward, not pull you down. So today, rewrite one sentence. Replace "I can't" with "I'm trying." Replace "I'm too slow" with "I move at my own pace." These shifts seem small, but they change everything. They turn your inner world into a place of strength. Because fluency begins in the mind. And the voice you hear most, your own, can become your biggest support. Most learners wait to celebrate. I'll be happy when I'm fluent. But that mindset steals your joy. It keeps success far away. The truth? Every step deserves celebration. Because every step is proof, you're still going. I used to ignore progress. I'd learn 10 words and feel nothing. I'd complete a lesson and say, not enough. My brain only saw what I hadn't done. So I always felt behind. Like I was losing, even while moving forward. One day, I changed that. I finished a short story in English. Just one page. I smiled, raised my hands, and said, I did it. Silly. Maybe. But it felt great. That small celebration made my brain light up. I wanted to do more. So I made it a habit. Finished a video. Fist bump. Spoke to a stranger. Smile in the mirror. Learned 5 new words. Dance a little. These moments weren't childish, they were fuel. Motivation grows when you reward effort. I also kept a win journal. Every day, I wrote one thing I was proud of. Watched a video without pausing. Spoke for 1 minute without translating. Didn't give up today. That journal became my personal trophy shelf. On tough days, I read it back. Line by line. And I remembered, I've done hard things before. I'm not starting from zero. I'm standing on dozens, hundreds, of small wins. That perspective gave me strength. Small wins build momentum. And momentum beats motivation. You don't need to wait for big achievements to feel proud. Let pride grow from consistency, effort, courage. That's what really matters in this journey. So celebrate early. Celebrate often. Even silently. Even if no one sees. Clap for yourself. Smile after a lesson. Take a breath and say, "That was brave." These tiny rituals turn practice into something meaningful. Celebration is not a distraction, it's a strategy. It tells your brain, keep going. This matters. It creates joy, and joy creates consistency. Without joy, habits fade. But with joy, you return again and again. Don't wait for perfect English to feel proud. Be proud of showing up today. Be proud of your progress, messy, small, real. You've earned it. Your journey is full of victories. You just have to notice them. So go ahead. Celebrate one win right now. You're doing more than you think. We've come full circle. From small steps to emotional strength. From quiet effort to bold identity. This is the final chapter, not an end, but a return. You're still learning. But now, you're someone who keeps going. Your reward isn't just better English. It's who you've become through this journey. More patient. More resilient. More confident. You've built a habit. You've created a mindset. You've proven to yourself, I can do hard things. There's power in that. Because if you did this, what else can you do? The same muscle that helped you learn English can help you grow anywhere. At work. In relationships. In any dream that takes time and trust. Consistency isn't magic. It's something better, it's honest effort, repeated. You've learned to speak through fear. To show up after failure. To celebrate small wins. To trust the slow, steady process. That's growth. That's transformation. And it doesn't stop here. You'll still have bad days. You'll forget words. You'll want to quit. But now, you have tools. You have rituals. You have belief. That's your shield. That's your map. You're not lost, you're learning. Think back to the person you were at the start of this journey. What would they say if they saw you now? Maybe they'd smile. Maybe they'd say, "Thank you." Because you didn't give up. You kept walking. And now, you're not the same. You've returned with something powerful, the experience of becoming. Not overnight. Not dramatic. But real. You didn't just study English. You changed your story. And that change will echo in every future conversation you have. So what now? Keep going. Keep showing up. Keep building your English life, one step at a time. Use the habits, the mindset, the momentum. Let English be part of who you are, not perfectly, but proudly. And when you speak, let your voice carry this truth: I worked for this. I stayed when it was hard. I grew through the quiet days. I am becoming. That's your reward. That's your fluency. If this story moved you, helped you, or made you feel less alone, leave a comment. Like this video. Subscribe for more. And share your journey below. Your story matters. Your progress matters. And I'll be here, cheering you on. See you in the next chapter.